So our philosophy here at Heston's is to sleep within the mattress, not on top. Do you have any questions for me at this time?
Yeah, can you just tell me a little bit more about the beds and why they're so amazing?
Absolutely. Well, please come on in. Our beautiful sleep spa, and we're gonna start our journey, starting with our calibration.
Awesome.
If you could please lay on your back on
Definitely.
this piece right here. And let me make sure your pillow is well adjusted.
Thank
And
you.
I'm gonna be back in 5 seconds with a nice duvet. It's a little chilly in here. This is just to make you feel nice and comfy, like you would be at home. Then I would like for you to start wiggling your body left to right, almost like you're doing a little dance. And the reason why I'm asking you to do this is that every Heston's tends to remember the last person that was in it. It's a little bit like saying hello to the instrument. So I would like to ask you to just close your eyes, try to forget where you are, and take a nice deep breath. And I would like for you to pay attention how your shoulders are conforming, how your chest is able to open up and find space, how you can breathe freely. I would like for you to pay attention to how your hips are traveling into the mattress. And I would like for you to feel how those hand-tight pocket springs are reacting to the shape of your body by compressing where your body's heavier, but also by responding by lifting you up. And this makes you feel like you're weightless. You may also feel like your feet are slightly elevated. Is that correct?
Yeah, they feel really, really good.
Awesome, awesome. So that's an indication that your blood circulation is flowing at its best. Some people feel like a little tingly sensation on their feet, which is an indication that every fiber in your muscle is being targeted by the oxygen, the blood flow. So at Heston's, we've been handcrafting sleep instruments for more than 170 years with just one thing in mind, and that is to make you feel absolutely nothing. This is a journey about harmony, about balance, where we're going to find your perfect pillow, your perfect sleep instrument, where you're going to feel weightless, free of any kind of pressure. So let me ask you, Victor, how are you feeling on your back right now?
Well, I really like how it feels on my back, and I feel like it's a great amount of support, but I do tend to sleep on my side.
Okay, okay. Yes, you were mentioning that during our discussion. So in about 10 seconds, I'm going to be back with a different pillow, and I'm going to ask you to please rotate on your side. Okay, so let me adjust this.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna ask you to hold the pillow that you were using before and just hold it almost like it's a little teddy bear, like a hug pillow.
Amazing.
Okay, so once again, I would like for you to take another nice deep breath with me. I would like for you to pay attention how your shoulders are conforming, how your hips are conforming, and if you remember that image of that beautiful Swedish lady on the wall, you may feel or experience that your spine is aligned as well. Now let me ask you, Victor, how are you feeling on your side right now?
This feels much better. I really like the feeling of this and how my body is sinking in, but I'm not feeling a lot of pressure, which is important.
Beautiful. You were telling me that your left shoulder feels a little pressure when you're on the bed that you have at your home. I would like for you to experience, because I'd like to concentrate a little bit on that shoulder as well. We want to try to provide as much relief as possible on that area. So I'm going to ask you to please rotate on your other side. And once again, try to relax. Take a nice deep breath. Again, I want you to feel how those springs are reacting or engaging to the shape of your body. They're letting that shoulder travel into the mattress. They're letting your hips conform. And I'd like to ask you now, Victor, how does that shoulder feel?
You know, back when I injured it, it started giving me a lot of problems when I've been sleeping, and that's probably the number one most important thing that I've been looking for when I've been shopping at Duxiana, at Savoir, at Vispring, and now here.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you that it feels weightless, and it's an amazing feeling.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. Wonderful. Okay. So, I'm going to ask you to experience a different piece now.
Okay.
And you can bring the pillow that you're hugging. And I'm going to ask you to please, I'm going to set the pillow for you. I'm going to ask you to lay on your back on this piece. There we go. And I'm going to ask you to take another deep breath with me. And this time, I would like for you to do something different. I'd like to ask you to do some kind of a body scan, starting from your feet, going up to your calves, underneath your knees, your thighs, your hips. Pay attention to your lower back, your upper back, your shoulders, your neck, and your head. And Victor, I would like to ask you, do you feel almost like there's a little bit of room or space in between the lower part of your back and the surface of the instrument?
Yeah, I feel like I feel a small pocket between my
Okay.
middle spine.
Perhaps almost like you could slide your hand right through it?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Okay. Okay, you may also feel like your hips are pushed towards, up. Do you kind of feel that elevation of your hips?
Yeah, I feel like my hips aren't going exactly as deep as they were on that other one.
Okay.
Is this supposed to be better for my body?
Well, this is interesting because actually these indications that you just gave me
Yeah.
mean that you are too light
Oh.
for this particular instrument. So in other words, you're not conforming with the instrument, you're colliding with the instrument. As a matter of fact, I would like to prove this even further by asking you to please rotate and go on your side.
Okay.
And in about 20 seconds, I believe you're going to start feeling a little bit of pressure on those wide shoulders.
You know, I think you're right. I can definitely feel like this one is, I don't know if support's the right word, but it doesn't let me sink in as much.
Okay.
And I think that because I might be too light, this piece feels a lot harder on my shoulder.
Got it. So it leads me to believe that you are possibly more aware of your shoulder. Do you feel that shoulder, that contact between the shoulder and the instrument?
Definitely. It's more so on top of mind, and I do notice it. It's not as weightless as before.
Okay. So what you're experiencing now is the beginning of that famous pressure point that I was mentioning before. What's happening now is that blood circulation is basically cut off at the heaviest parts of your body, like your shoulders. That's what causes you to toss and turn most of the times. And many people think that tossing and turning is normal because they've been doing it all their lives. But what is truly happening is that every time you toss and turn, you interrupt the REM cycle. I have many clients that come in and say, I sleep 9-10 hours, and no matter how long I sleep, I wake up feeling exhausted. And most of the times, this is the reason why. It's not important how long you sleep. What really rejuvenates you is the quality of your sleep. We need to complete that REM sleep in order for you to wake up refreshed and rejuvenated. So I believe we can both agree that this tension is not the right one for you. Am I correct, Victor?
Yeah, I it's not my favorite. I agree with you.
Okay, all right. Wonderful. So I'm going to ask you, and you can leave that pillow on that piece. I'm going to ask you to try our third and last piece. And we're almost finished with our calibration.
Amazing.
And please lay on your back. This piece right here.
Oh, wow.
All right. Okay. There we go. Let's make sure your pillow is nice and alive. There we go. Okay, so once again, I would like for you to take a nice deep breath. Feel how your shoulders conform, how your hips conform. And I believe your feet may feel even more elevated possibly on this piece here. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, this is so much different than the other piece I was just on. My feet definitely feel more elevated, and I feel like I can almost sink in more here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, we'll find out that there's a substantial difference between sinking and being conformed.
Okay.
With the piece. And we're going to find that out, especially when we're going to experiment this piece on your side. So I'm going to ask you to please go on your side.
Okay.
And once again, I would like for you to take a nice deep breath. Let me ask you, how are you feeling on your side?
This feels really similar to the first piece that I was on. I feel like this piece is a lot softer. Is
Okay. Wow, you're very in tune with your body. You're a 10+ student.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I do like how this feels. It feels really squishy.
Well, that's actually a very good description. Thank you so much for letting me know. And I'm gonna let you know what we experienced so far. So, curious enough, we've been experiencing the same model.
What?
Yes. So this is the iconic model for Heston's. It's called the 2000T. It's the #1 selling model in the US in particular.
Okay.
It's been crafted by the master craftsman Jan Erik, which was actually commissioned by the King of Sweden to make his bed.
Really?
So Jan Erik went for 10 years to Bali to study body anatomy and came up with the best
Wow.
sleep instrument in the world. That is the Vividis.
Wow.
Jan Erik, after the Vividis, made the 2000T. And the 2000T is really what resembles the essence of Heston's. It's, I believe, the most sensitive piece in our collection. That's why we perform our calibration on the 2000T. And the 2000T is priced at around $76,000 for the full system.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you what the difference is between the three pieces we experienced so far.
Yeah, please.
The first piece was a 2000T in a medium tension. And I would say that medium is about 80% of my customers are placed in a medium. The second piece we experienced is a 2000T in a firm tension. In our world, we place NFL players, basketball players, essentially people that are very heavy, that weigh 280 pounds plus.
Mm-hmm.
And the piece that you're laying on right now is a 2000T in a soft tension.
Oh, so this is soft.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
You were mentioning it yourself. You felt it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you, where do you think you feel more at home out of these three pieces?
You know, I have to say, my favorite sensation, I think so far, has been this one and the first one.
Okay.
This one feels really yummy and like I'm
Okay. All right.
like I'm almost in a cloud.
Yes.
But I'm not sure how my back would feel after sleeping in this for 8 hours.
Very interesting you say that. So my advice would be to go back to the medium.
Okay.
I would like for you to feel the difference.
Yeah.
And I'm going to also explain to you why you're feeling that difference.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Just follow me. Lay down. There you go.
Thank you.
All right. So now that you're back on the medium, I'm going to explain to you what determines the difference in tensions between these pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one single thing, and that is the thickness of the steel in the spring.
Really?
Yes, the thicker the steel, the more power that spring is going to lift you up.
Okay.
That's why on the firm 2000T, we place very heavy people, just because they require that power in order to lift up that weight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got what you mean now.
And on the soft 2000T, we usually place people that are very light. We place children, we place, again, light people, mostly people that really love that feeling of going into the mattress. And it's funny that you were mentioning almost like you felt you were sinking into it.
A little bit, yeah.
Exactly. So let me explain to you what's happening and what you're feeling in these two pieces. So you were feeling like you were sinking on the soft because I believe that those springs are too thin what we're doing is we're looking at support in the long term. And obviously it feels great because, as you said, it feels like a cloud once you lay down. But looking at long-term support, you're going to have this piece for the rest of your life. I may be a little concerned that those springs will not provide that support moving forward. Now, how are you feeling on the medium?
You know, now that I've gone back and forth between the soft and the medium, I definitely feel like there's less of a difference between these two
Yeah.
and that one over there that I tried.
Yes. Yeah.
But I feel as though these beds are supposed to last how many years?
Well, they last 50 to 100 years, and
Wow.
they pass them on for generations in Sweden. So I do have a colleague of mine. He's from Sweden, and he has Hestens that has been carried on through his family for 120 years.
Oh my gosh.
So and it's still kicking. So.
Well, you know, when I'm thinking about this, I'm also thinking that this is probably going to be my forever bed, and I want it to last with me both now as a younger guy, but also when I get older and still have a good amount of support.
Yeah.
I feel like the medium one might be a better investment, like for the long term.
Beautiful.
Does that sound like something you hear a lot of your clients say?
Absolutely. Remember me saying at the beginning that I placed 2,000 people on a Hestens?
Yeah.
And that I would want you to feel what I can see. And I believe that right now you're feeling what I can see. I had an idea, a very strong idea that your tension would be a medium. We're trying to find that Goldilocks zone where you are conforming when you're engaging those springs, you're allowing them to make the heaviest parts of your body conform. But you want to also receive at the same time that push of the springs that allow you to support the lightest part. That means being in harmony with the instrument.
Amazing.
Feeling that harmony, that Goldilocks zone, that weightless feel that we're so famous for.
Yeah, I mean, when you introduced me at first, I remember you showed me that picture of that Swedish girl, and I feel like this is probably the one that gives me that kind of look the most with how my body is sinking in.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like we found your shoe size.
I think so. This feels really, really good.
Wonderful. Okay, so now that you're a medium, and that we found your shoe size, you're gonna be a medium from the piece that starts our collection up to a model called the Dreamer.
Okay.
When we go above the Dreamer, the situation changes a little bit, and I'm going to explain to you what makes the difference in value for the pieces. Our collection starts at about $25,000 with our model called Maranga, and it goes all the way to $650,000.
How much?
$650,000.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you ever heard of the Drake bed.
I've heard of it. I didn't know you guys actually sold it.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. I'm gonna show it to you after.
Cool.
We can take a picture of you so you can post it on Facebook or something.
Can I sleep on it?
We only charge about $100 every 5 minutes.
Oh, that's much cheaper than renting it for the night, I guess.
So we were saying, so now that you're on the iconic 2000T model, Would you be curious to experiment our lower profile instruments, or would you be perhaps more interested in experimenting the more sophisticated?
Well, I've got to be honest with you. I love these beds, but the most expensive bed that I've ever owned right now is about 12,000. It's a Tempur-Pedic,
Okay.
and I have been shopping, and I went to Duxiana and a couple of other ones in the area, and I know that those are around 20,000. I'd be curious to see. You said this one is the what again? The
76. It's 76,180.
and it's the T2000,
It's the 2000 T.
the 2000T. Okay. What do you have that's most similar to this that might not be as expensive? I'd like to see that.
Well, I actually have a model in mind.
Okay.
And before I take you there, I would like for you to understand what makes the difference in price.
Okay.
You may ask yourself, why is one model 25,000? Why is one model 76,000? Why is one model 650,000? And there are essentially three indications that determine price. So the first reason is how many of those hand-tied springs you have.
Right.
The more hand-tied springs you have, the smaller the circumference is going to be, and the more areas of your body are going to be impacted. Picture them almost as little hands. The more hands you have, the more sophisticated and nuanced that support is going to be, right?
Kind of like a rock star diving into a crowd.
You're correct.
Okay.
That's a good analogy. And the second reason is how tall that spring is going to be.
Yeah.
The taller the spring, the more turns it's going to have. So the more room your body's going to have to conform. But at the same time, the more power that spring is going to have to lift you up.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
That's actually how we measure support.
Yep.
And the third reason is how many layers of horsehair and natural ingredients. And we were basically saying that horsehair is pretty much like nature's air conditioner. Now, one thing that I would like to say is that value is not necessarily indicated by pricing. In other words, it doesn't mean that the more expensive the piece is going to be, the better it's going to be for you. So I'm happy you asked me to experience something that is lower in price than the 2000T, but may resemble what you're feeling on it. Are you ready to experience it?
Yeah. I mean, these feel completely different from what I'm sleeping on, and I am really sure that everything that you have here in this store is going to be better than what I'm on.
Okay.
So let's check it out.
Well, any Heston's you're going to select is going to be the best bed in the world, no matter what. So
Thank you.
let me guide you to this other piece here. And this model right here is called the Ayala, and it was made by the same master craftsman, Jan Erik, that made the 2000T, the Vividus, and the Grand Vividus.
He's the same one who made the bed for the king, right?
Exactly.
Cool.
Exactly. So the Ayala, you can start laying on it on your back again. The Ayala was made by, it's actually one of our new generation pieces. And Jan Erik made it with one thing in mind, and that was to recreate that nuanced feeling, that sensitivity that the 2000T has, but for almost half the price. As a matter of fact, the Ayala is priced at around $40,000.
Wow, that's like half of what the other one was.
Exactly. So now we're gonna just repeat the exercise of the Ayala and see if you can feel a substantial difference between the two models. And it'll really come down to justifying and quantifying if you can justify spending $76,000 versus $40,000.
And you said this one is also a medium?
This is, yes, we found your shoe size. You're a medium.
Oh.
We're gonna only experience medium models from now on.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I like it.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's enough for now.
Awesome.
What do you think?